Hello, my name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold, and that's to encourage you to take some time out for yourself, for your well-being. This week I thought I'd share with you one of my discoveries. I have been giving myself some time out, playing with paper and just seeing what emerges, and I'm very happy to share any of these discoveries with you in support of well-being over this time, that together we can feel a bit stronger. And actually this one is really appropriate. I've called it Strong Star. It really is. It's made of 5 pieces of paper. You can see here where it's different colours, and it's just a really nice snug star. It may well have been found by others, but for me it's a strong star and something that I found. So this is the back of it. It's just such a lovely shape. You may have done the single star, which is from one piece of paper, and actually the back of it really resembles the same. I guess it's all the mathematics in there, but it's such a lovely shape. We're going to do a bigger one, but it's really up to you what size paper you make. All of these films are dedicated to my colleagues at UCLH Hospital in London, encouraging staff as well as patients to get creative. And that's a way of really encouraging people to actively take a break for their minds, to focus on something else. And by getting lost in folds, it will lift your mood. It will take you away from wherever it is that you are, and you will discover a wonderful beauty with just the simplest of materials, paper. We can all get hold of some paper somewhere. It does not need to be special paper. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing this with you, the Strong Star. Another time I will also show you, I suppose these are all variants really, but you can make all sorts of really interesting designs based on this. So it's quite simple actually, and you'll be glad to know. For this we're going to need 5 pieces of paper, so we'll make 5 squares, and I think a star is always a lovely symbol whatever the time of year it is, and it is really strong, so that makes me happy. So I'm going to grab a board, and obviously this is for all ages. This is a lovely thing to do. I think to get into origami as a child, it will definitely bring your creativity. It will encourage your imagination, your focus, what you can do. You will impress yourself as well as friends too. And for adults, it's just such a lovely way of just forgetting everything else, finding that you can do something maybe you thought you couldn't do. All it requires is a bit of patience and being kind to yourself. It's about that kind, positive attitude, and that's all about self-care. So I'm going to direct this down. So I am going to make, 5 pieces of paper. I'm actually going to use a slight mixture of colours just so you can see. So I am going to do a big star, like you saw, just because it's easy for me to show you, but you can use whatever size squares you want. So all I'm doing here, it's an A4 piece of paper, and I'm simply dividing it in half. I've nicely lined up those corners, good strong fold, and then you should be able to do a little nick. So I've been making these films since, March 2020, over this time of the pandemic, and I'm thinking of them also as sort of company too. So it's not just a instructional video, in which case you just want hands, but it is also a little bit of company and those messages of self-care, which is what I offer in the hospital, but for now keeping remote to help everybody keep safe. So I'm going to do, there we go, 3 whites and 2 cream, just so we've got a little bit of a contrast going on there. Okay, so next I need to be able to make each one of these into a square. So to do that, simply taking a corner and lining it up at the bottom. Enjoy taking your time. That way it will work, but it's also, I think, a really good principle of slowing yourself down. It will be more relaxing as well, and you'll be able to do it well. I guess this is the principles also of mindfulness, of allowing yourself just to be here in this moment, and what a joy that is. And we're going to remove that rectangle, and really that's where we always are, is the here and now. And we are very clever animals, so we'll tend to think to the future, to the past, every possibility, and actually doing something that's meaningful, challenging, focused. You become rooted in the here and now, and that will leave you feeling refreshed. That's what I find too. So I've made 1 square, same thing again, taking a corner, lining it up nicely through the point, The joy of getting that nice and white. Removing this rectangle, you can make little stars with making squares from these little leftover fragments. You can keep going. Maybe each step getting smaller and smaller. That would be interesting to see how tiny they'd end up. Small is often harder, but it's a good one for pushing your technical skills. Most of all, though, to me, it's about how it makes you feel origami. Taking the corner, I think the technical side can be a bit off-putting, I think. Well, depends what sort of person you are. But I reckon go with being playful and having a little bit of fun with it. Okay, removing the rectangle. So all I do is turn it over, bring it back, line it up. I'm showing you from all these basic pieces so that we're doing it together. A nice little bit there. That's it. Oh, this paper tears better than the other. You can find these things wary. Again, the corner down to there. I've rather enjoyed tearing paper. Feels like it reveals the natural fibres within, which is a lovely thing. Such a special material, paper, and so much of our culture is based on paper. And of course it was invented in China. So many things have come from China and then of course been passed on as culture. And in Japan, when it first arrived, paper was seen as very valuable. So folding as a way of just enjoying the paper itself, of honouring the paper. I think that's something we could all do with taking this everyday material. It actually is very special. Let's honour the paper. We're going to then remove that rectangle. And actually it's your time and your care that will turn what could be a piece of paper that could have been put into the bin into something that's become special and meaningful. Right, so I have got 5 squares there. So how to fold your strong start arm. So I'm opening this up. I'm going to take one side and I'm going to bring it to the middle, like so. So I'm taking one side and I bring it to that middle line. As always, I do recommend doing it on a solid surface because that way you could be nice and exact. So I've done one side. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to take the other corner and do the same thing. What you're aiming for is a parallelogram. Whoops. I was about to fold it the wrong way. This corner and bring it up to that line. So it needs to be a parallelogram, not a kite. That way we'll get it right. There we go. Like so. So I tend to reckon a bit of a batch approach. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. So opening it up, bringing this up to that middle line. So you need to do this for all of those 5 arms of your star. Turning it over and again bringing this up so it forms a parallelogram. There we go. A little heat there, opening it up, and just doing it all the same way round each time is probably a good idea. That way it will definitely work. Go, turning it over, and again bringing it up so it will form a parallelogram, not a kite. You could be making something else if it's a kite. I wonder what. So the important thing is that those 5 squares are all the same size for them to come together. There we go. And turn it over and then bringing again the side up to make a parallelogram. We're almost there. I'm showing you the same step over and over again. I find an easier way to do than going through each thing separately. I find this more relaxing. So I'm showing it to you as well, the relaxing way, I think. Turn it over and parallelogram. Okay, what next? So our next step is, it's quite an interesting step actually. It's about being really focused. We're going to fold it from one corner of your parallelogram to the other, and that's it really. So I'm taking this and I'm going to fold it from there to there, and I think you have to really concentrate for this, which is what I really like about it. Oh. There we go. It's a surprisingly interesting angle to try and do, and take your time so it is, so that you're happy that you get it accurate. I'm sure that will matter because everything will need to interlock into each other. I think that could be a little bit higher. Probably not the easiest thing doing to the camera, but hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing. Can you see? So that's your fold there. I might just check it out myself, check that I've done it. Well, and that's a beauty paper. You can reposition until you're really happy. Yep, that's it. So it should look like this. So let's do that to each of them while we're here. Put those there. So again, taking this, and I'm going to fold it from this corner to this corner. As I said, it's surprisingly interesting trying to get it that exact. It's not an obvious angle. Right, I'm going to have to put that down on solid surface. That's it. Aiming for that. Oh, it's still not quite. This is the joy of it. It really is. So, it should be looking like this. Right, next one. Hopefully you'll get the hang of it. So again, corner to corner. Here goes. Each time it's interesting. You may actually find it easier smaller. But it's quite fun having a really big star, isn't it? I'm getting it through there. Good enough. Great. There we go. Next one. Again, so I'm folding it one corner to the other, and I've just tried to keep it consistent with each of them. That way it should work. There we go. Through those corners. It's just wonderful. It turns into the right angle to make a star. Wow, that's it. Next one. So again, from corner to corner. Here we go. Hopefully you're sort of getting into the swing of it. I still have to concentrate every time for this. But it's also what makes it interesting too. The concentration that's needed is a great thing. And I think in this digital era, we're very easily distracted by things. So this prolonged focus on something a little bit challenging, I think is very good for you. Right, so we're almost there actually. We've done the hard work. So our next step is to take this side and fold it along that middle line. So I'm going to take this and fold it in from the tip. I think I'm going to have to face it down again. So I'm going to take this side and bring it to the middle line, and you'll see there is a middle line there. You see, I took it and I folded it there. Now I'm now going to turn to the back, and again this side, and I'm going to bring it so it meets with that middle line. And that's one bit of your star. So it's looking like that. That's very nice. Okay, same thing again. So this side to that middle line. Like so. Turning it round. Same thing, this side to that middle line. I'm just thinking for us all that we need to feel like strong stars. Make me feel a little bit stronger. Maybe it will make you feel like that too. Celebrate the star you are. That side again to that middle line. One time a patient drew, I would encourage doodling, and there was one patient who drew a lovely shiny smiling star and wrote, "You are a star." And he said, "You may not feel like it, but to somebody you are a star." That's right, that middle line again. I thought that was really beautiful. You may not realise the difference you make, but you will be making a difference to someone. That side to that middle line. And yeah, I think this kind of self-care helps you with your own sparkle as well. I think without it, we all start to fade a little into that middle line. I've actually been pre-recording these films so that I can have a break over the summer, because actually breaks are important. Even if you can't get away, it's allowing yourself time off. Get offline a bit. It's important. Again, you're outside. You'll find yourself so much more productive as a result, and able to adapt and to be resilient, which is good whatever your work is, or just looking after yourself, you're patient and just getting through it is the important thing. Right, so there's two sides to your star, so each side sort of has a flap, and you see each side has a flap on one side, but this is the back actually. The front has that whole solid line along one bit, which will become the front of the star. So we're just working on the front. So I have got this also at the front. So to do it, it's really simple. Is to open up one flap, and you can pop in the arm of the other, and it should nicely push into that pocket. And there we go. And this little kind of overhang there can then just nicely be tucked over the other arm. It also has this nice little detail there, but it's really snug. There's kind of lots of layers for each of these. So I'm going to go on to the next side. Again, I'm checking that I've got it the right way around. Oh, I have got it the right way around. So you can see that this has got this long, no, I have got it the right way around. Turn it around. It's always good to check. So you can see this is a whole solid area. That's the front of the star. And again, I can open up that pocket and I can push that in. Goes in nice and snugly. And hopefully you can just tuck in that layer. Again, it would just feel so lovely and kind of rich and looked after, held by each other's arms. I'm going to take the next one. Again, I'm looking to which side. Is that the right side? No, it's not the right side. I'm going to turn it around, and because I need that whole smooth side. And again, this will slot in there, and this outside flap I am then in there. It looks like it's almost complete. It is almost complete, but there's another layer that needs to go in. So again, making sure, no, that's the back. opening it up so it's that one. Okay, so I'm going to push this one in. So this is what's called a modular piece of origami. It's got lots of bits that come together to make up the one. And with anything which is like a circle or star, you've got the very last step is always the tricky one. So you almost have to hold your breath when you're doing it. But you sort of twist the front to the back and the back to the front. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. But at the moment it's sort of unclosed. So how to do that usually is to sort of make sure that everything's nice and tight. And I'm going to try to bring that back bit forward. And I'm going to bring the front bit back. Sounds complicated. It'll be fine. Right, here goes. Moment of twisting it round so that the front came to the back and the back came to the front. It's only in your hands that it will all make perfect sense. It's only by doing it will make sense. So I'm opening this flap and I should be able to pop this one in. But it gives a lovely sense of completion that you've had to do that last tricky step. And again, tucking that over. Yay! The strong star has come together. It's a big one, isn't it? So that's it from the front, and it's got all these lovely layers and depth to it. You can feel it's almost like intertwined, and this is the back too. So yeah, what a lovely thing it is. I hope that's worked for you. I'd love to see your stronger stars. I hope it's really lifted your spirits and brought your shine as well. Thank you. Bye bye.